Namaskar and welcome to Golden Epaulettes podcast by pilots for pilots. My name is Ronak and our guest today is Nipun Jain. He is a FAA CPL and instructor license holder. He also is the international operation head of SoCal Aviation in Los Angeles, California, which is a flight school. So, I think we have a lot to know about how flying is in the United States. What are the advantages? What are the disadvantages? I'll leave it to Captain Nipun to take it further from here. Hello, Captain Nipun. How are you?
Yeah, I'm really doing fantastic.
Thank you very
It's
much
a
for being
very
here.
exuberant experience here.
Thank you.
And when we talk about aviation in USA, it's what comes to my mind is December 17, 1903. That is when the Wright brothers took the first flight. It was a 600-pound, heavier than air aircraft, which was at 120 feet.
Right.
So that what brings aviation into the picture.
Absolutely.
And aviation in USA is huge. We have about 19,000 airports there with 5,200 airports which is for public use.
That's the stats?
Yeah, that's the stat.
Wow. I didn't know that. Thank you.
And we have 200,000 general aviation aircrafts registered in USA.
Wow. Wow.
Some of the top aircraft manufacturing companies, be it the Boeing, be it the Pilatus,
Right.
be it the Lockheed Martin for the F-22s. So these are all there in US. We have the training companies who manufactures the training aircraft. We have the Cessnas, we have the Pipers. Everything originated from USA. So that is how big USA is.
I agree. The aviation part is pretty well captured and sustained in the United States. Can we talk about your journey? How did you begin your journey, and how many years? I think it was about a couple of years ago.
Yeah, my journey started, to be honest, around 10 years ago when
Okay.
when I got my private pilot license. So for me, flying started as a hobby.
Oh,
I went into US, got my private pilot license.
as a
and-
hobby.
Yes.
Okay.
And I just got my private pilot license. And after that, I was like, "Okay, all right, what can we do in aviation? Because I am an MBA in international business.
Oh.
So the point to go abroad was to explore business opportunities.
So it's like an amalgamation of both the
Yeah.
aviation and the business aspect. Your MBA mind was always at work.
Yes. So that was always there. And my father always wanted to become a pilot. So after my plus two, he shared with me that why not you take science and why not.
Go ahead.
So, yes. So it was my amazing experience when I took my father back to US and tried to train him on the aircraft. So that is what I could pay back to him.
I'm sure that's a moment to remember.
Yes. So that was the motto all behind.
Right.
Yeah. So back in US, there are certain FAA requirements as a trainee that you want to meet. So it's quite similar to as of the other countries. So the requirements goes with your medicals, and you need to have a class 1 medical as a commercial pilot. English plays a very vital role. You should be able to read, speak, write, and understand English language.
Right.
Yes. Now you need 250 hours of flying. You also have to clear the knowledge tests, which is the private instruments and the commercial. So,
The laser grade.
yeah, the laser grade. So these are like the 3 knowledge tests.
Right.
And then you have to finally get a sign off from the instructor so that you can take the check ride and get your license.
Right.
So-
That's very interesting. So, I believe more or less it's similar to India and other countries. It's just a variation in flying hours. Everyone is testing us on the basis of medicals and written examinations as well. The examinations in the FAA being a objective type of examination followed by vivas, right?
Yeah, so basically the written test is totally the same written test you have in DGCA also. Yeah, multiple choice questions.
Okay.
Yes, and out of 100 you got to score 70%.
Right.
Yes. And then when you go for a flight test,
Right.
so flight test starts with the oral. So it is an
Right.
intense oral of 2 to 3 hours.
Right.
And then you are tested on the flight. You got to make sure that you show all the maneuvers,
Right.
the different types of takeoffs and landings.
Right.
the emergency procedures.
And sometimes it so happens that if you are unable to clear your oral exams before the check ride, they don't let you go forward to the check ride as well. It
Yes,
has happened,
yes,
right? That those are very
yes,
important.
yes, yes. So again, it makes you very profound with the personal interview, and that that interview preparation and that interaction with the FA examiner, which is
Yes.
actually a government official.
Yeah.
So that interaction makes you very sound.
Right. So 250 hours medical understood, all English requirement is understood, which comes in the form of ELP exam in India, and over there, I think it gets endorsed on your license only. I want to ask you, there are different types of FA schools. They are divided as well. Unlike India, India just has one kind of flying schools. Would you like to start telling us about the
Oh,
same?
yeah, yeah, for sure. So there are
Thank you.
two types of flying schools. One is a Part 6-1 school, and the other one is a Part 141 school.
Okay.
So a Part 141 school is someone who can issue you a letter of intent
Okay.
for a foreign student.
Okay.
Yes. And there is a difference between the curriculum of Part 6-1 schools and Part 141 schools.
Right. Right.
So what happens with Part 6-1 school? It's more about somebody who wants to do flying just maybe as a hobby pilot. They want to start, or they do not have like a fixed schedule. They want to pace it according to their requirements.
Right, right.
Yes,
141 comes with a structured pace
yes. It
and
comes
a
with
whole
the
structure to the program,
yes,
often preferred by international students because they can get the documentation done for the
yes,
visa required. And
yes,
61, let's say, is more preferred when you are into flying, for, let's say, hobby purpose, and more preferable by domestic people,
yeah, by domestic
or
people.
people of that
Yes,
country.
because
Okay.
141 is a full-time course,
Right.
and there are certain number of ground hours.
Right.
There are different state checks,
Right.
and
So the
it is
data for everything has to be maintained. You have to go through
yes,
the. You cannot skip. On the other hand, for 61, probably you can just fly, and as long as you clear your exam, there are no ground classes needed. If you're able to clear the exams on your own, I
yes.
think
There
you're
is
good to
no
go.
fixed number of ground
Right,
classes.
right. Thanks
Yes,
for
it
correcting
it
me.
totally depends
Thank you,
on
thank
your
you.
requirements. Yes.
So about SoCal Aviation, there is a flight school called SoCal Aviation. Students often, ask us, and it's often a question thrown around a lot. Flying school concierge. You've been to SoCal Aviation. You've been there. You are a partner there, and you are, the India head. Would you like to explain about SoCal Aviation? What part is your school? How do you stand out? What are the advantages of an Indian student choosing SoCal for his or her flight training over others, and what are the disadvantages as well?
Starting with the advantages, we are one school who is very fast.
What do you mean by fast?
Like we can literally get you done in 6 to 8 months.
How is that possible?
So it's possible because we have a dedicated instructors team,
Okay.
and we have a good fleet of aircrafts.
Okay.
So you can get literally you can fly every alternate days.
By good, what do you mean?
Like they have good number of experience, they have trained good number of students.
Okay.
Captain Sohail, who is our chief, he has a gold seal rating. So now a gold seal instructor is an instructor who has passed a lot of students in his first attempt to get his private license or his commercial license. So getting a gold seal for an instructor is like you are one of the best instructors out there.
I understand.
Also, if you must have heard about this organization, AOPA, which is Aircraft Owners and Pilot Association. This is the oldest association worldwide, and they have all the veterans from the industry. So this organization rates flying schools in USA, and SoCal Aviation got the award for the Distinguished Flight School in Pacific region for year 2024. And
Congratulations. Wow.
yes, and also Captain Sohail as the Distinguished Flight Instructor, Pacific Region 2024.
Wonderful.
So that speaks volumes about the quality. Yes.
As far as speaking volume about how it looks, it's definitely, I agree, it's great, it sounds great, it looks great. But I'm going to go ahead and ask you, an Indian student, when he or she chooses SoCal Aviation to fly, what are the real advantages they're going to get if they choose that, let's say, over any random school in
Yeah, yeah.
Florida?
From a student's point of view, we have a fleet of Cessna 172 aircrafts, which is required by the DGCA for their single
Yes.
engine. Yeah.
Yes.
For multi-engine, we have two options. That is a Tecnam and a Piper Seneca,
Both of which are recognized by DGC.
both of which are recognized by
Right.
DGCA. Yes. We do have a good instructor to student ratio.
Approximately how much?
Let's say it's 1:4.
That's nice. That's pretty
Yes.
good.
Yeah. So every student is personally taken care of
Right.
and is monitored by Captain Soy.
Personally monitored by Captain
Personally
Sohail.
monitored by Captain Soy.
Okay. What else can a student expect from you?
And then people do need help with the DGCA documentation. We do have footprints of all the DGCA documentation. We know the conversion requirements. So once the student is done with his training, we can help him with his conversion, his paperwork, and literally help him to get his DGCA license.
So, Captain Nipun, thank you so much for that information. That does sound good, but you got to tell me what exactly does SoCal provide and what exactly it doesn't provide to Indian students in particular.
Yeah, so you see, we are based out of Chino Airport.
Chino.
Yes. So Chino Airport has great, landing facilities. We have a ILS. We do have VOR approaches available. We have 3 runways.
3.
Yes. There is night landing facilities, and it's one of like the busiest airspaces. So you get a lot of experience. Yes. And then we have 2 airport museums in the airport. We do
Wow,
have a
that's really-
cafeteria in the airport.
Oh, that's nice.
And you can
Sweet.
literally drive the golf cart and explore the airport. So one of the challenges that the students face in US these days is the shortage of flight check ride examiners.
Right.
So we do have a team of dedicated examiners who do test our students. So students can get an expedited date and their training will be very fast
As compared to other flights.
as compared to the other flights.
So you have this relationship established, what you're trying to say, with a couple of examiners who prefer, or obviously who never put you in line, to give your check rides, and they make sure
Yes.
the process there
Yes,
is,
They give
smooth
us
as well.
preference.
Right.
And they are available for us all the time. Yes.
Right.
So we're quite lucky that we have a team of designated examiners, and there are quite few of them who do honor our calls and give us a check ride date. So
Oh, that's lovely. Yeah, because
Yeah.
that takes a lot of while. Sometimes
Yes,
you
it
don't
does.
have the examiner, sometimes you don't have a date available, sometimes they don't honor your
it
call.
can totally, increase the training time
Right.
almost twice,
Right, right.
Yes.
It does impact significantly.
impact a lot. Yes.
I think flying in California would one disadvantage I feel would be the cost of living. So have you done anything in that direction? Has SoCal taken any steps in that direction?
Yeah, how we can save on the cost of living is by the expedited training. So we make sure that the student at least gets 3 to 4 slots in a week and gets done very quick.
Right.
So the fastest student that we had completed his CPL in 4.5 months, and he was an Indian student.
Wow.
Yes. Average student takes around 6 to 7 months.
Wow. Wow.
So that is how we have managed it. We do have our own housing arrangements.
Right.
There are some newly built property which we have rented for the students. We have furnished it,
Right.
and there are great amenities for the students available.
So you do look out for the students in terms of accommodation as well.
Yes.
You do have recommendations as well.
Yes. Accommodation sometimes can become a challenge for the student.
Yeah.
So we do help them in getting a good accommodation.
Food, I don't know,
Yeah,
socially.
Fooding is something that a student learns when he goes to US. He learns to cook a little.
He or she.
Yes.
Yeah.
There are a lot of Indian stores with a restaurant which do offer meal plans for the Indian students.
Oh.
But a lot of them prefer to cook, and they eventually become a little master chef, I'll say.
Yeah. That happens. That's okay. So you've said that SoCal does look out for the accommodation as well. Apart from that, Yes, how about the culture is my question. Do you have just Indian students and American
No, it's
students?
a cosmopolitan culture out there. Yes, we have students from Middle East, we have students from Mexico, we have students coming from Australia. So we have students all around.
Okay.
And yes, so when the students have this cross knowledge exchange, they come to know about the options globally. Because there was one of our student who could get an airline job in Vietnam
Oh wow.
because he had a friend who was, a cadet with us
Uh-huh.
and who got selected in Vietjet.
Vietjet.
So yeah, so this guy could also get a
That's
recommendation
wonderful.
in Vietjet.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful networking right
Yes,
there.
so it opens doors for
Sure,
you.
I'm
Yes.
sure. Having friends in different nationalities does open a lot of
Yeah,
doors,
it
including
does.
that of employment opportunities as well. That's great. That's wonderful. And
So the another advantage I could think of is the weather. You can literally fly more than 320 days in California. It's mostly sunny out there. The winds are also not a factor. During winters near the coast, you may have advection fog, but we are far
that
inland.
adds to the training.
Yes, but we are far inland, so it's okay for
Yeah.
SoCal students. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. It's quite scenic as well if you want to go around looking at a couple of
Yes.
things like San Francisco, etc.
Yes.
Quite
You can
scenic.
literally fly over that Hollywood sign,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is like a dream come true.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, all right. Well, that's quite a few advantages students have to pick up SoCal. Thank you so much for that, Captain Nipun. We'll continue asking Captain Nipun Jain few more questions regarding SoCal, flying in America as compared to flying in India, and other questions in the next part of this podcast. Please do continue watching.